Hello, welcome back to another edition of Road Talk with Cade. Today is January 31st, 2025. Let's get into it. In the first episode of the year, I stated that one of my goals for the year was to do 90 days sober. Now that we're a full month in, I wanted to share an update on my experiences through dry January. This is not the first time I've put myself through a dry January, and I'm sure it won't be the last. Coming out of the holidays, I think it is a great way to start the year off on the right foot, giving you time to focus your mind as you prepare for everything you hope to achieve in the coming months. In that podcast, I stated that I wanted to track a few things about my life over the 90 days, those being sleep habits, energy, strength, and focus. I believe other goals of mine for the year are also help playing into how I feel as well. Let us start with my sleep habits. For a majority of my teen years through today, I have long struggled with the concept of sleep. Being a night owl and an early bird leaves little room for sleep. I can't take a nap either to save my life. If I ever do manage to fall asleep, it ends up being a 4 to 5 hour experience that leaves me not knowing what day it is when I wake up. Those naps then throw off my sleep schedule even worse, for a week or more, as I try to readjust. Since the start of the year, I have put myself on a strict bedtime of 9 p.m. There are exceptions to the rule, of course, for special events and occasions. What's the point of life if you don't experience it? The reason for the strict bedtime is to help build a natural sleep pattern. Pairing that with sobriety and not using my phone for an hour before bed has helped my sleeping habits drastically. Over the past month, I have noticed a much more consistent flow state in my dreams. For the longest time, I didn't even think I had dreams. After about 2 weeks of going to bed and waking up at the same time, I started having more dreams at night, or at least more dreams that I remember when I would wake up. I have also been experiencing lucid dreams that have caused me to wake up in the middle of the night a couple times per week. The improvement on my sleep habits so far has had a wonderful impact on my day-to-day life. Every morning I wake up roughly around 5:30 a.m., 30 minutes before my alarm clock sounds. When I wake up, I am usually not tired. I actually feel well rested, ready to start my day. This leads us into the second part of my life that I wanted to track, which is my energy. Growing up, my dad was a constant coffee drinker. Usually, my alarm clock in the mornings before school when I woke up was either his coffee maker beeping, or for a while, there was his coffee grinder that would grind his beans for him. I hate that stupid coffee grinder. It was such a constant in my mornings that I grew up to despise and even hate coffee without ever drinking a cup of it. Over the past month, I've woken up, as I said, well rested. I start my day awake and ready to go. As I stated, I don't drink coffee, but over the past year, I have been drinking a variety of teas in the morning before work. Yes, the tea still has caffeine in it, but at about average only half as much as 1 cup of coffee. The reason that I drink tea in the morning is for 1, that little extra kick into gear when I get to work in the morning. For 2, the fact that it doesn't have the negative hydration effects that coffee has. I am going on a tangent about tea versus coffee, aren't I? Back to my energy. My energy level has been constantly higher in my day-to-day. While at work, everyone knows that work can be a drag, especially this time of year for me, where I won't take a PTO day until at earliest April. However, over the past month, I have found it much easier to find the motivation to get things done. Even now, as I write this, I am sitting in a coffee shop at 8 a.m., being productive with my Saturday morning, compared to lying in bed hungover, wasting a day of my life, rotting away. I feel more active. I don't dread going to the gym after work, and I usually end my hikes wishing that I could have gone farther, but the lack of sun in the afternoons seems to be more of the issue there. As we catapult out of the winter solstice, that will no longer be an issue in just a couple short weeks. Not only have my energy levels been higher, but I also feel stronger. When it comes to measuring strength, I mean it in 2 ways. The first is willpower, and the second is physical strength. As you watch the video, I am on my way to go snowboarding. My willpower to go out and do things has been much improved. When drinking, usually my only social activity is going to a brewery and having a deep conversation with a retired couple about all the things that have gone wrong in the world. That isn't a joke either. I would say my main demographic of people that I conversate with while out is definitely over the age of 60. They are usually more inclined to sit down and have a genuine conversation with you. They also have a lot more insights on life, giving you a lot more value in the conversation than I find in most people my own age. Without that outlet in my life, I've turned to finding more experiences around Asheville to fill that social void. The first real activity I did to do this was go snowboarding. I haven't been on a board since my junior year of high school, where I sustained the worst concussion of my life after bailing midair to stop myself from landing on a small child. At first, on the mountain, I was nervous about the past trauma, but once I got my feet under me, literally, I gained a little confidence and I had an amazing time. Pushing the boundaries of my ability to strike up conversation with strangers while sober has also improved, whether riding up a chairlift with a stranger or just in day-to-day life. To the other night at the Michigander concert at the Grey Eagle. The uncomfortability of striking up a random conversation is something I am proud of, looking back on how shy of a child I was growing up. I believe a lot of that has to do with me finding my own skin over the past year. Tracking my physical strength, I have noticed a good uptick on my level of energy for the duration of the day. As 2 episodes ago, I ran you through my daily schedule that starts at 6 a.m. and ends at 7 p.m. My day is packed full of activities that are mentally and physically draining. At the start of the year, by the time I got to 7 p.m., I was physically exhausted every day. Now, a month later, I find myself working closer to 8 p.m. every night and would rather continue to keep myself occupied than waste my life death scrolling through my phone. On average, I tend to walk between 5 to 8 miles per day, and I spend an hour a day at the gym every day. That is a lot of physical exertion that I'm putting my body through. However, I think that exertion is good for me. Another one of my goals this year that is tied into my improved sleeping patterns. Every night when I crawl into bed, I can feel that my body is ready to stop moving for the day. By the time I wake up, I don't feel that leg anymore, but I do feel ready to go back and do it all over again. That last thing that I've been tracking over the past month of January has been my focus. As you can probably tell by this point in the episode, my focus has drastically improved. While hiking, I usually have some pretty deep conversations with myself about all sorts of topics. Over the past month, I feel as though those conversations have grown even further in depth. At times, I will be out in the woods, having a full-on argument with myself, or planning how I'm going to take over the world one day. I have also found that I've been able to retain more information from the books I am reading. The one I am currently reading is The Campaign of Passchendaele, where in World War I, the BEF, or British Expeditionary Forces, fought through trench warfare to push back German defenses after a 3-year stalemate on the line. A truly riveting story from World War I, my favorite war throughout history. Also the war I draw the most inspiration from. If those men can sit in trenches and nearly freeze to death in mud for 5 years and prevail in the end, what can I accomplish in my life with a little adversity? Everything I ever do will be easier than what they endured in those muddy trenches. I am ranting a lot here, but I think that is a result of my improved ability to focus. I am locked in, dialed as some may call it. My recall has improved as well as my memorization. Over the past month, I have found to recall details of past events more clearly, specific details about certain people, or things that I have done that I haven't thought about in years. One other goal that I can credit to this improved focus is the limitation of screen time. The more I have limited screen time in my life, the better my life seems to become. When COVID first hit, I fell into an internet/social media hole. During the start of the pandemic, I was either watching or listening to something for every waking moment of the day, completely frying my brain, becoming hopelessly addicted to my phone. It didn't help either that I was not watching a single thing that would help my future life, just podcasts and shows that would fill the void of silence. The older I get, I learn that the void of silence is better than anything else. Silence is where you talk to yourself and grow. It took me a full 4 years to get a grasp on my addiction that I have to my phone. as I still continually put up restrictions to distance myself from that further. I hope one day that I can throw my stupid phone in a river and never carry one again. To me, cell phones have completely destroyed the way humans interact. The main reason so many people my age are suffering with mental illness today. We live in the easiest time ever on planet Earth, yet we act like we have the hardest lives ever. Please put your phone down, go outside, and enjoy the beautiful world we get to live in. In the third full week of January, I found myself in a lull. I felt myself struggling. I was adding extra weight to my daily schedule with work, as I was applying for a promotion that at the end of the week, I was told I wouldn't even get an interview for. While in my personal life, I found a lack of motivation due to how focused I was on work. On Friday morning, when I got the unfortunate news, I wanted nothing more than to go to the bar and drink my sorrows away. Instead, I sat myself down, hitting myself in the face with a little self-discipline, because you can't let one setback derail all the work you have put in previously. Instead, I accepted that the promotion was not the direction God wanted to take my life in. So now, I get to stay in Nashville, a place I love, just a little while longer. So after dry January, what are my thoughts on sobriety? Well, yeah. To start, I feel physically and mentally great. However, what is life worth living if you don't enjoy the time we have here? You can do all the right things to take care of yourself, but is that really living? Go have a beer with that coworker. Share a glass of wine over dinner to celebrate an accomplishment. Sobriety is good when used as a tool to the end of a means. But unless you are addicted to alcohol, I would call it an overrated experiment. There are so many experiences in life that when paired with a drink can create deeper meaning. So with all that being said, I would recommend taking time off from alcohol to see what effects it has on your life. For me, I will be breaking my sobriety at the end of the month. Why, you may ask? Well, my dad is coming to town, and I feel that as a fit enough reason to celebrate. However, for every day that I drink while he is here, I will be penalizing myself for not making it the full 90 days. The punishment will be adding 5 days to the end of the streak for every day that I drink while he is in town. Because you have to have rules. If you don't live by a set of rules, then you have no direction in which you are carrying yourself. As always, thank you for listening. I love you. Bye.